This video is going to show you how to set up the photo shoot photo booth. After you take the cover off, this is what the photo booth looks like. And there's no camera cap on the camera, that's how it comes, just so you know. And then around the back side of the photo booth, everything is secure with these little pins that you unscrew. I have most of them taken off just for demonstration purposes, but you'll find all the holes on the side here. So there's basically 4 of these you take off on each side if you need to remove the top piece. And then you have the bottom piece as well. You just basically unscrew these things, and I'll show you what's inside each part. To plug in the photo booth, you can take the back door off, which we'll do, but normally you should be able to just reach right in here and pull the cord out, and then we're going to plug it in. We're just going to take off all these pieces here and show you what's inside the back here, just so you understand. In the bottom compartment, you'll find the base speaker, the printer, and the blower. For the printer, if the printer's not working, obviously make sure that it's powered on and the plug is in. After you plug in the power cord on the photo booth, you'll open the top back of the photo booth, and what you'll find inside is the keyboard and a power strip that has everything plugged in. The power strip should be left on. You shouldn't need to turn that off. Everything is labeled. If you want to turn the blower off of the photo booth, this outside one right here labeled blower, you simply unplug it. That's all you got to do. As soon as you power the photo booth on with a plug, there's no power switch, so everything will come on automatically. Unless you can't reach the power cord inside the bottom of the booth, you can tip it forward or sideways to reach underneath, but you shouldn't really need to take this whole back panel off. After you power on the booth and the booth automatically turns on, one thing that you have to manually turn on is the power on the computer. So just push the button once, and you'll see the little thing illuminates, and you wait for it to start up. If things don't turn on, then right here just make sure the power strip is on. You do not need to turn this off. Once you turn the photo booth on, after you wait about 30 to 60 seconds, the program will automatically start. Don't touch anything on the screen, don't do any updates. And what you're gonna do is after everything starts, that's pretty much it. What you're gonna have to do though is focus the camera. To focus the camera, what you do is, there's no window here, so you could actually touch the lens, so try to make sure nobody touches it, but the very tip can be adjusted, not the deeper part. And what you're gonna wanna do is just find whatever your subject is. Let's just say this drill is the subject. So we're gonna set things up how far you want it for the picture. Generally what you want is about this distance, about 6 to 8 feet between the photo booth and the setup. And then what you're gonna do is simply go around the back of the photo booth. And when you're looking at the camera, there's a little button right here that shows a picture of a camera. Push that, and then you'll be able to see a live view of what the camera sees. And then grab the very tip of the lens, and you can adjust it. It may be hard to see here, but what you can also do, if you grab the bottom part of the lens, the big part, it zooms everything in or out. So if you really want to, you could zoom in a little bit, adjust the focus, and then once you have that focused, you're going to use the big part behind it to crop the background. So for example, if you have a curtain, you want to get this close enough so that you don't see the outside of the curtain, but you want to show the whole curtain as much as you can, so this way you can do larger group shots. After you're done adjusting the focus for the camera, simply hit this button again to turn it off, to picture the camera, and then you'll see all your settings. You generally should not need to change your settings. If the guests ever complain that the preview is too dark, the ISO, which is right here, you could set that to auto, but the pictures look a lot better with the ISO at a higher number. So it's just the preview that sometimes looks a little dark, which we'll show you. To adjust the volume of the photo booth, looking behind the photo booth, there's 2 speakers. The left speaker, if you feel up with your hand, you'll find an on-off push button, and then in the middle and to the right, 2 dials. The dial in the middle, if you turn it, you'll see the volume goes up.
Don't be shy. Get in here and smile. Huh?
And you want to make it loud for a party, especially with the DJ going. You want to pump it all the way up. Then the dial to the right is the bass. I like to have it nice and bassy and loud because it's a party. If you turn the volume all the way up on the photo booth and you don't hear anything, the second way to check the volume is the actual computer. Hold down Windows and the letter D. It's basically just showing you the desktop. So that little joystick icon, if you click on it, that's the photo booth program. But we got it out of the way for now by pushing those buttons. So now if you look in the bottom corner here, you'll see that third icon, which is the speaker button. And when you click on it, you can see that it says speakers 52%. What I prefer to do is to leave this at 100%. It's just pump it all the way up. 100%. Let's close that. That's how you should leave it. If you're at a party and they want you to mute the volume at any point, simply go in the back and turn the speaker down. That's the easy way to do it. To change the paper on the photo booth, you simply go around to the side of the photo booth and you'll see that there's 4 black pins here. And you're simply going to take those off. You take the cover off, you'll see the printer right here on the side. It's the DS-RX1, which is the same printer that we use in our Instacam, our superbooth, and our selfie mirror, and our Mirror Me booth. You change the paper the exact same way. Make sure the power button's on, make sure you have no errors. And then to change the paper again, just pull the tray out. If there's scraps in here, throw them away. And then what you're gonna do is right here on the top, there's a little ledge. You push on it, this opens. And then we have separate videos showing you exactly how to change this. But whenever you change the paper, you always change both the ribbon and the paper at the same time, never just one or the other. No matter how full either one seems, you always change both. Whenever you check this, you always want to make sure the ribbon's tight, not loose and saggy. So you pull on it, make sure that the paper is good. Then you push this thing all the way closed, and then we should let it go through its little cycle. And depending on if you pulled the paper or the ribbon, it may run through a cycle and spit out a couple pieces of the paper, but we didn't really do anything here, so it didn't. And so put your paper tray back inside here, it snaps in place, put the doors back on, and let's do a test print. What you need to remember though, is that when you put this back piece on and the top one, line it up and put all the pieces in here loose, because otherwise you may have a harder time lining up all these holes. And then once they're all lined up, then tighten them. The bottom 3 holes down here do not get screwed in. There's no thread inside there, just so you know. And then there's 2 middle ones. Try not to lose all these screws, please. To start the photo booth back up, remember all we do is down here is the button. You simply just take your mouse here and put it right down there on the little icon for the photo booth. It's the same icon as this. Just double tap it. Put that down here though. You get a little delay, the screen's black for a minute and then it pops back up. And there's your photo booth. Now if you need to quit the program, not just close it, what you can do is you can do an alternate F4, and that force quits the program. Like if it's about to print something and you need to test something in the photo booth and you don't want to wait for it to go through a whole session, and when that happens it takes you back to the screen, so you just hit the enter button, and then you just hit sign in. There's no password needed and it takes you back to the screen. During the party, a lot of times people want the option to put their pictures online. So right down here in the icon, you're going to ask the location for the Wi-Fi password. Click right here, click on it. And then you're going to look for their thing, sign on, and that's it. That's something you should always do at the beginning of the party as well. When the party is completely over, you're going to go right down here to the bottom corner, the little Windows icon. And right here, right above it is a little symbol. It's a circle with a line. That's the power symbol. You simply push the button, and you'll have a choice: sleep, shut down, or restart. If you're ever at a party, you're having a problem with the photo booth. For example, if the power was yanked out, the cord was out, or the power tripped, don't just shut it down and turn it back on. You want to do a restart, because that resets the computer so it'll start better. If you just shut it down and turn it back on, you may have problems. The only time you're turning it off is when the party's over. So like if we were finished right now, we would hit shutdown, and we push that button, wait for the computer to go completely off, unplug it, you're done. This is going to be a sample session of the photo shoot photo booth. Guest comes up, pushes the button, you choose your character.
Hello, I'm Lon.
Hey, you over here! Hey there, don't be shy. Get in here and smile.
And I'm going to turn the volume up a little bit for the video. So, now we choose our template. Now, you'll usually have different templates to choose from, but for a lot of parties, we customize with one design. There we go.
Please use the up-down buttons to adjust.
And you can adjust the camera up and down a little bit more. Beautiful view of the back wall in the corner of the warehouse.
Entering photo shoot mode. Lights. Camera. Action. Here's your photographer.
Oh, hey! Didn't see you there. I'm just kidding, I did. Get on in here. Yeah, promise not to snap at you. Leave that to the camera.
Thank you for posing in the super booth.
Now, of course, I didn't pose for these pictures, but what they can do is they can make extra prints, and of course, if we were connected to the internet, they would have the ability to upload their picture. And now if we go to the side of the photo booth, I don't have the paper tray on here right now, but let's just wait for the picture. To turn the photo booth off, take your keypad, press Windows D, and when you press it, the screen goes blank. And then you give it a second, you push the bottom corner, and then you hit the button right above it, which is the icon for power, the second one. Push that. And then you have a new window, sleep, shutdown, restart. Press shutdown, and then the booth will shut off. And when I say off, I mean the screen is completely off, so it's no signal, so it's not completely off yet. Now it's off. Once there's nothing on the screen, all you do is simply unplug it. That's it.